So I have a company called Ascent Leadership Group, which I love doing. I get to work with a lot of great executives and companies and helping them grow their business. But I think more of my passion is around horses. So I have a ranch with my wife out in Elizabeth, Colorado, about 45 minutes southeast of Denver. And we've done fox hunting and done other various things. But we love rural lifestyle, we love horses, and it's just a wonderful balance. Had a mutual friend in the technology field, and we were kind of laughing a little bit about getting older, now in my 60s, and some of the experiences I'm having, and she mentioned the C60, and that it's something I needed to really try. And so I said, okay, got a bottle and started seeing a number of benefits, and a big fan now. Well, my wife and I enjoy a really active lifestyle. We've got horses, we do a lot of riding. I love playing tennis and other things. And I was noticing some degradation, to be honest. I was getting a little bit of pain in my joints. I was starting to feel a little more lethargic, not necessarily focused. And so I think all those, plus a recommendation of somebody I trusted a lot, caused me to give it a try. Probably three primary things I noticed. One was energy. Some might here call it vitality, but I knew I was getting older. I was staying very active in business, but I was just losing kind of an edge from an energy standpoint. So I noticed a lot more energy. Getting up fresh in the morning was a big part of it. Just a lot more alive. Again, it's hard for me to describe that, but vitality, or whatever the right term is, just feeling more energized and focused mentally would be probably a second thing. A lot less mind fog, brain fog, sometimes I've heard it called. So a lot more clarity in there. And then probably the third thing was a joint pain. At 60, I started noticing a little more joint pain, and that really cleared it up. It was pretty amazing, to be honest with you. So those are probably the three biggest things I noticed. Absolutely, I'd recommend Greska C60. I don't know why you wouldn't try it. The results I've seen, my other friends have seen, have been amazing. Greska C60 kind of changed my life, to be honest with you. It sounds crazy and embellished, but the fact of the loss of pain in my joints, vitality, energy, mental focus, for the low cost, I don't know why anybody honestly wouldn't try it. You know, I understand guys' skepticism. Oftentimes a wife comes home and very excited about a product because she's getting relief, she's getting effects and benefits from it. And I don't know about many other men, but myself, I tend to be more skeptical. And so probably was a little bit skeptical. My friend, a guy by the name of Linda, mentioned it to me. And I thought, what have I got to lose? She was raving it, and I thought, I'm not gonna let my skepticism keep me from trying something that could really benefit me. And that probably was one of the best decisions I've made in recent years.
My name is Tonya Sweeney, and I am a health coach and the administrator of the C60 Anti-Aging Benefits Support Group. I live in Northern California, and I have been a health coach for several years now, and I'm really passionate about helping people heal through nutrition. Well, I didn't actually start out with Greska's Carbon-60. I had to try 3 other brands first and spend a couple $1,000s in other product until I was just inspired by the color to take the plunge, and I ordered my first bottle. And I have to admit that it didn't go that well at first because I was very toxic and I was detoxing heavily. And I had a pretty clean diet, so I actually attribute that to taking those other products first. But I felt like I was feeling something happening, and I felt like I needed to stick with it even though I was detoxing so heavily. And it took about a good 6 weeks to 2 months before I really started noticing a difference with his product and having more energy, sleeping more soundly, just feeling more vibrant overall. Well, I am always on the lookout for alternative methods of healing, and I definitely want something that's clean and holistic and environmentally friendly. And I love that this product occurs naturally in nature, and that it's very simple, it's a very small dose, and that I've noticed the benefits. So the name of the Facebook group is C-60 Anti-Aging Benefits Support Group. Well, I actually started the Facebook group back in October of 2017 before I started taking Bob's product. And in the beginning, I was talking about the products that I was taking, and I wanted to have a place where we could talk about our experiences and support each other through this process, because it is such a novel, new supplement that's out there on the market, and so I wanted to create a place where people could talk about their experience and share results. And so it was really interesting in that group when I started taking Bob's product after taking the other products for so long. I got attacked quite a bit by the other companies, and it just made me more determined to run the group in a way that we would have a forum where we could express ourselves freely and not have anyone attacking us, and that we could share and quantify all of the results that we were getting and share photos. And it has just been an amazing experience. We have met incredible people. I know that we're helping them. We share so much healing and nutrition information, and it's just really been inspiring. And I'm so grateful that I decided to start it and that I've been able to run it for so long. And it's miraculous to hear some of the changes in people's lives. C60 is so unique to me because it's actually a power generator. And so as opposed to other supplements where you're adding a nutrient you're missing or something like that, C60 is actually reactivating the cells and aiding the body in healing itself. So I don't know of hardly any other product out there on the market that is helping to detox cells so that they can function the way they're supposed to. That to me is just phenomenal. I love hearing about the animals because I don't think that animals fall underneath the placebo effect. So when I hear stories about people just giving their cat like a drop or a couple drops, or I personally gave a friend's dog 5 drops a day, that it was like a completely different dog in 2 days. We have a woman who has like a 35-year-old parrot that was really sick and kind of acting like he was on his last leg, and he is just having a miraculous turnaround, and he's like a completely different bird. So I just love hearing those stories, and I love hearing stories of people astounding their doctors. So it's really, I love being part of this. I absolutely would recommend this product to others. I myself have been on a healing journey for quite a while. I didn't feel like I had a lot of major illness to resolve in my body, so it has just lifted me to a new level of health, and I feel like I have reached homeostasis. I don't ever have a sniffle, I don't get sick, I can go out in the sun for hours without any sunscreen, and I don't get sunburned. And honestly, my tan is the only thing I'm a little upset about. My tan doesn't last that long because I'm so healthy that my tan eliminates itself in a couple days. So to me, just not burning in 10 minutes like I used to, it's just incredible the results that I've had, and it's wonderful hearing the experiences of other users.
My name is David Mason. Well, I'm a user of Greska's C60, survivor. I live in Dana Point, California, and I'm 66 years old. I was a steam fitter, pipe fitter for 35 years, doing heavy mechanical work, and lots of injuries go with that. And so I'm here to tell my story. I have a complicated background. For the purposes here, we'll start in August of 2015. I had gotten an MRI because my arms and my hands had begun to hurt and have weird feelings, and so I got an MRI scan, and it showed that I had lots of damage in my cervical spine, and I was told that I had to have surgery and get it fused. And so I went through with the surgery, and it was successful. They put a titanium cervical cage in there, and they had to open it up and grind the bone off my spinal cord, and it was a big deal, but it worked out good. And so I was rehabilitating myself and going along, and so this was in August, and come December, I just absent-mindedly placed my hand down on my abdomen and felt this giant mass in my abdomen that didn't belong. And I just went, oh my gosh. And so I went to the doctor, and so that started a whole series of scans and biopsies and everything, and on to an oncologist, and then to a major university medical center, and had to have surgery, take it out, and they took out part of my digestive system, and there was this complication. I was in there for 24 days, and so when I got out, it's like I was in this program of watch and wait, and getting MRI scans every 3 months, and they were going to use this contrast medium that had gadolinium in it, and so that's what I was doing. And after my third injection of gadolinium, they injected into your blood, I developed a tremor, and I didn't know what to make of it. And so then after my fifth injection, everything got worse, and my life just kind of got real small. And I just had neurological symptoms everywhere. And so I didn't know why, and so one thing led to another, and I watched a YouTube video, and I happened to notice that they mentioned gadolinium and some of the problems, and so that set me on a search, because I wanted to get it out of me. At that point, I became aware of C60 by accident, and I studied on it for maybe 4 months and decided that that's something that I'd like to try, and so I began taking it. The first hour I took it, all of a sudden I noticed that everything was clearer. It was a surprise, and I was standing next to a desk, and there was a doctor's business card on there, and so I picked it up and I could read it, and my arms. I'd run out of arm a long time ago, and using drugstore reading glasses. So I was thinking, well, that's amazing. And so the other thing is I live at the beach, and so I exercise every day, walking the beach, and I climb this hill. And I noticed that when I climbed the hill, I didn't get as tired, and at the top, I wasn't even hardly breathing hard. I thought that's interesting as well, because I've been doing this every day, that I can. So it's the same routine. Excuse me. So this went on until like 3 or 4 weeks. I wasn't really expecting anything huge. It was just, let's just do this. And after 3 or 4 weeks, all of a sudden I noticed the tremors had stopped. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. And also, another one of the neurological things was things called fasciculations, which is muscles twitching. It was all over my body, and that stopped as well. And I was just thinking that's amazing, because it had been going on for over 2 years. And so I just went with it. And so this is, I started taking C60 in June of 2018, so it's close to a year. And then I began to notice that in my legs, where I'd lost feeling, where the muscles had atrophied and whatnot, that I was beginning to gain feeling a little bit. It still doesn't feel exactly normal, but it's there. And I'm getting some muscle definition in some of the muscles that had atrophied. And so that's like really encouraging. This is a long-term process. So that's pretty much my story. One of the things that I noticed in my research is there's 2 types of C60, it seems like, out there for the most part. There's C60 products that has a solvent in it, and there's a C60 product that doesn't. And that product is Greska's C60. And I worked in the shipyards for a lot of years, and I've had enough solvents in my body, and I decided I'm going with the one without solvent. And so that's what sold me on Bob's C60. Well, the first thing was I didn't know anything about gadolinium, and I didn't know why I was having these problems. And I happened to see a video that showed that Chuck Norris and his wife were suing a pharmaceutical company for millions of dollars due to an acute reaction that she had. And so that caused me to read up on gadolinium. And when I saw that, I get out my fingers and I'm counting, thinking, how many times did I have an IV when I went in the machine? And I'm going, oh my gosh. And so then I realized I have a problem. And so at that point, I started searching what can get gadolinium out, and there's not a lot of information out there. And in searching, I happened to come across a YouTube video on C60, and so that caused me to start doing research. And the research is difficult to come by, kind of. And I saw a Facebook group that Tonya had started, and so I went there and I joined, and I just sat back and read people's comments for about 4 months, deciding if that's something I wanted to do, and the pros and cons, and all the different issues, and that's what led me to Greska's C60 product. After starting using Greska's Carbon-60, it was surprising the change in my vision. I just didn't expect that, and so that was right off the bat. And then I see different people saying what their experience is, and it actually seems as though different people experience different things specific to possibly their body. For me, I noticed that I can perform physically better, less tired after exercise. I don't have to breathe as hard to climb a hill. And in case of the change in the neurological stuff that's going on, I can't actually explain it, but I know that it's happening. And it seems to be just this long, slow process, and I'm going with it. I was born normal, and I want to get back there without pain and dysfunction. And so I'm a fighter, and so this is just part of the fight. I've seen enough anecdotal evidence from enough people on enough platforms to be confident that Bob's C60 is something special, or Greska's C60 is something special. And I give it to my mom, and she's 91 years old, and I've seen nothing to change my mind.
My name is Liz Magaro. I am a stay-at-home mom of 3 kids who are all teenagers, a 16-year-old boy and twin girls who are 14. I live just outside of San Francisco in Marin County, California. In about 2013, I started to have symptoms. The first thing was just extreme fatigue, and with 3 kids, it was pretty difficult. It was debilitating fatigue. I had skin issues and muscle pain, and I felt like I had been hit by a truck, and it sort of came out of the blue. Although looking back, I can see that there were sort of like symptoms that had been creeping in for several years that were sort of low grade and easy to ignore. But the acute version happened in 2013, and I just got very, very ill, went to several different doctors and practitioners, and nobody could figure out what was wrong with me. I wasn't able to take care of my kids. I was in bed, basically, for several months. And tried everything under the sun, doctors-wise, went to many different doctors and couldn't figure it out. I finally decided that I was going to try to heal myself on my own. Did a lot of research. I tried many different products, many different ideas on how to heal that just didn't work enough to the point that I really felt like I had my life back. I was functional. I was taking care of my kids, but that was all I was doing. I wasn't going out, I wasn't socializing, I wasn't talking with friends. I had to conserve all of my energy just for my kids. So I was still on the search, I was still researching, and came across C60 watching a Cliff High YouTube video, and I was instantly just intrigued and wanted to try it. So I tried several different brands and had some real digestive issues with these brands of C60. And it wasn't until I tried Bob's, Greska's C60, that I really felt like it was something different. Like the minute I took it, first of all, you have to take a lot less of it, which is great. And I just felt something was happening. And actually called Bob after that first dose and said, wow, like my energy instantly improved, like tenfold. And I could just feel something was happening. So I continued to take it, and right now I think I've been taking it for 14 months, and I've lost 75 pounds. That was another symptom that I forgot to mention back, that I had gained a lot of weight almost overnight. And my skin improved. I had lesions all over my arms before, and they're almost completely gone, and all over my face. And it's improved my sleep. I was having really bad sleep issues. It's just been a miracle for me. Well, I had heard so many good things about C60, and frankly, I was desperate to get well, and I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna give this one a shot. I was really impressed with Bob and his knowledge of carbon, and I actually spoke with him on the phone several times, and he answered all of my questions. I mean, he spends so much time on the phone with people because he wants them to really understand the science behind this, and that he understand that basically he understands the science of carbon, which was something that's significant for me. So I decided to give it a shot, and I'm glad I did. So the results have been nothing short of miraculous. I feel like a new person. I went skiing with my family in February, and I hadn't done that in 5 years. I think my kids feel like they have their mom back. I lost all the weight, my skin cleared up, I have energy. I just feel like a normal person again. And I'm gonna keep taking C60 for the rest of my life. And I've told him this, like, he saved my life. I did not want to live anymore. Absolutely, I would absolutely recommend Greska's Carbon-60. It is nothing short of a miracle. And I do believe that it helps all kinds of people, healthy, sick. I think it could benefit everyone. I give it to my kids. So that says a lot.
Well, I'm an independent biomedical researcher from Gloucester, Massachusetts. I've had a lifelong career in the biomedical industry. And my passion is really human physiology and molecular biology. Well, I think C60 is the most profoundly healing molecule discovered to date. It is unsurpassed in terms of its antioxidant potential, primarily because it's one of the few molecules that's able to function at the level of the mitochondria. And that's important because that is where the majority of our free radicals are generated as we produce ATP, which is the body's energy currency. Most antioxidants that people take in supplement form or even in dietary form never really reach the level of the mitochondria. C60 is quite different. It's one of the only molecules that can scavenge the superoxide radical. I think there isn't anybody that couldn't benefit from what C60 has to offer. Certainly the aged will benefit the most because they have the most mitochondrial decay, but because C60 also is a detoxifier, it's a form of carbon, and as such it's nature's detoxifier, it will pull out a variety of toxic substances from the body. And the benefit to that is that if you clean the bloodstream, if you clean the lymph, if you clean the intracellular spaces, cellular signaling can work exponentially better. So basically you can improve all aspects of your physiology just by improving the cellular signaling and cleaning up the garbage. I think the most profound thing that C60 is doing is scavenging the free radicals that are being generated on a daily basis. If you take away the free radicals, you automatically reduce the oxidative stress. The second thing it's doing is it's removing toxicity. Plain old pesticides, herbicides, heavy metals, all of that. It's just neutralizing toxins. And with those two things alone, you're going to feel better. And so that, I think, is the biggest benefit, those two things, free radical scavenging and reducing its toxicity. Free radical is basically an unstable molecule in the body, and it's very, very destructive. And C60 has the ability to neutralize that free radical so that it can stop frying your tissues, basically. It can stop the cellular damage that's happening. It can stop the DNA damage that's happening. And that's really important if you want to stave off aging, because aging is just an accumulation of these genetic changes that don't get repaired. So anything that can quench a free radical is beneficial. And C60 seems to do it in a controlled fashion, whereas you need a certain amount of free radicals because they act as signaling molecules, which will upregulate your body's own antioxidants as a defense mechanism. So you don't want to take too many away, but C60 seems to do it in a fashion that is selective, and so you can't take too much of it and override your own body's ability to operate on its own. But it's also an assist that is beneficial in aging individuals because that whole process becomes dysregulated with age. Oxidative stress is basically a form of rusting. If you can think of a nail that's rusting, that's a sign of oxidation or oxidative stress. If you think of an apple that's been cut open that's starting to turn brown, that's evidence of oxidative stress. Rancid oils are oils that have been exposed to oxygen and are starting to decay. And so it's a process of being exposed to oxygen, but we as human beings require oxygen to live. You need oxygen to carry out all your bodily functions. But the byproduct of that is oxidative stress. And the more time you're on planet Earth, the more oxidative stress you're going to have. The more heavy metals or toxicity you're exposed to, you're going to have more oxidative stress. The more athletic endeavors you engage in, going to create more oxidative stress. So it has some benefit. Your body does have natural defenses against it. And in response to oxidative stress, the cells will upregulate their own production of antioxidants to deal with it, and they consequently become stronger, but to a point. And with age, that process becomes less efficient and somewhat dysregulated. And so whatever you can do to assist your body in dealing with the oxidative stress would be beneficial. Well, I had gone down the trail of C60 after I had gotten the results of my 23andMe test, and it revealed that I had rather much to my surprise, a genetic susceptibility towards oxidative stress, theoretically speaking. So just as a project, I decided to investigate what supplements might be available to address that impairment. And I found that there's only really one or two available to consumers to address susceptibilities to oxidative stress at the genetic level. One of them was C60. And I had known about C60 from my prior research, and I knew that it was an industrial product, and I did not like the idea of taking an industrial product for biological purposes. So I was almost ready to give up on it until I heard that there was a food-grade option. And so I started to look at it a little closer, and it seemed pretty benign, and people were having good results from it, and I said, I'd give it a try. So I ordered a bottle, and I've taken a lot of supplements over the years, and so like with most supplements, I wasn't expecting much. But I took a first dose and didn't notice anything immediately, but the next morning, I woke up and was expecting to have the usual lethargy, stiffness, fatigue in the morning before getting going, and I was amazed when I got out of bed, and I had none of that. I felt like a 6-year-old kid. And I immediately thought, well, what did I do differently the day before? Why do I feel so good? And I thought back, and well, the only thing I did differently was the C60. And I wasn't ready to ascribe those benefits to the C60 immediately. So I let a few days go by, and then I took another dose. Same thing the following morning. It was amazing, and I was completely flabbergasted that one supplement could have this profound an effect on the way I was feeling. So that began 15 months of research into what it is and what it does, and it's nothing short of miraculous. This particular molecule in this pristine form, and not the industrial form, solvent-free. I have to emphasize that repeatedly, solvent-free, has just the most profound benefits of any supplement I've ever taken. in terms of elevating your physiology on every level. Everything has improved. It's particularly noticeable in me because I'm an endurance athlete, and what I notice most is I don't have to eat, I don't have to sleep, and when you're an endurance athlete, that's huge. And that's not an exaggeration. It sounds exaggerated, but it's not. And so I'm sold. It's probably the most life-changing supplement I've ever taken. I would suggest that you join the C60 Anti-Aging Facebook group. And I'm a member there. I check in daily. Well, people could get in touch with me through the C60 Anti-Aging Facebook group. I check in almost daily. I'm happy to exchange information with anybody or answer any questions. I don't claim to be an authority, but I've got a wealth of information that I'm happy to share.